Kevin Cottam, Ross Video VP of Global Sports and Live Events. Global Sports, it's a lot of that's a big big territory. How are you doing?
It is, yeah. I'm doing well, Ken. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So let's spend our time talking about, obviously it's been a crazy 14 months, 15 months. It'll soon be a crazy 16 months, maybe even 17 or 18. Hopefully by then we're kind of less crazy. What's it been like at Ross? What have been some of the projects you guys been working on?
Yeah, well, I guess just at Ross in general, it's been challenging, just like any I would assume any other manufacturer, any other business partner, any other client. It has been busy, challenging all the way around. Manufacturing is going well though. We've got a couple of shifts running. We've got a lot of safety precautions in place. So we did have a short shutdown last year for a couple of weeks, but we haven't had to shut down since. And I think that team's managing all that very well. So it's been fantastic. We've still been able to to build product and get product shipping. So on that side, things are going pretty well. We've also got quite a bit coming. I'll touch on that maybe a little bit later in the interview, but yeah, a lot of new developments coming through and some announcements coming. So things have been good. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, let's start with some of the big projects you've been involved with. Obviously, one of the big ones this year was the Super Bowl, which was a massive undertaking. And I know obviously your team pretty well tied in with the NBC Sunday Night Football team as well, crew. What happened at Super Bowl LV and LV? Listen to me, 55, and what was it all about?
Yeah, well, yeah, we were involved again. So this was our 5th year involved with the Super Bowl. This year we weren't so much involved on the broadcast side. We were more involved on the venue side. So at Raymond James Stadium, working with Van Wagner Sports Entertainment as well as the NFL to just drive the entire facility. So the control room products, the full control room solution, as well as all the LED control. We did all the perimeter signage, the seat level perimeter signage, all that type of thing for the production. So yeah, it was a massive undertaking. It was awesome. It always is awesome working with those guys. Right. But it was a huge success, and it was we're always pushing the limits on what we can do, right? So we didn't only use just the traditional switchers, graphics, routers, expression tester, that type of thing. We also brought in 2 ARVS chains to do augmented reality graphics on that in-game feed or the in-bowl feed, as well as Piero was used for down and distance, as well as sports analysis and whatnot. So yeah, we just keep adding to the complement of products that are used at that one of the biggest shows on the planet. So it's been awesome. It's a great relationship with those guys. Yeah,
excellent. So, it's interesting when you look back. Clearly, we want fans back in the stands, but I think the things that have been going on with, maybe you're surprised too, in-venue experience as far as signage. It's been really kind of neat. So are you kind of surprised at how this is all kind of transpired?
I try not to call it signage. Depends on where it is, right? If it's something on the exterior of the building or something, sure, you can call that signage. Right. But really, it's another storytelling tool, right? It's another way to tell the story of the day or what's happening with that event, happening with individuals. And really, taking it to the next level with all the data integration and being able to trigger and sync things. So not only is it entertaining and whatnot, but you're engaging fans through the, just through that outlet, right? So it's just another way to communicate, another way to engage fans. No, I think it's going well. I love to see where it's going, I guess is what I'm saying, right? It's not just a digital signage player rotating through ads. There's a lot going on. We're doing interactive games. We're doing interactive projection at some facilities. It's awesome. So it's just another way to, to tell that story.
Sure. And let's shift gears to America's pastime, baseball. You have a couple projects there, as well.
Yeah, just a couple. So we're, as you likely know, we're very involved with Major League Baseball and all the teams throughout North America. So it's always a busy time of year. Even though this year was, the teams were launching in COVID and starting up in COVID, we still had a lot of work to do. So a lot of graphic refreshes across the board. We also worked with the KC Royals on a new control room build, as well as LED control build. So the total solution, as well as the Milwaukee Brewers. So that was a couple of other couple new projects that did come about in a time when you wouldn't think they would do that, but they really wanted to come back and give the fans a little something extra when they did get back. So it was a fantastic projects and lots of great partners involved there as well as the clients. So yeah, a lot of fun, busy times though for sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay, let's go 2 more. Shall we? The NFL draft, obviously in Cleveland. We're recording this the day before the draft starts, but I know it's going to be a big. I just saw the big, massive stage along the lake there on the Cleveland lakefront. So what's your involvement there?
Yeah, well, again, very similar to the to the Super Bowl, we are driving that entire stage, right? So with Expression Tessera, with our routing platforms, we've got Kiva's being used in there, one of our newer products. That's a presentation server. We've got a lot of different products out there just to drive that entire set. Again, we're working with Van Wagner Sports Entertainment as well as the league. But yeah, we're responsible for driving all that, and we've been working with Van Wagner on the creative and whatnot. So our guys are helping out with some of that creative, but we're building the entire system out for that for the draft. And I think that's our fourth or fifth year doing that. I can't recall. But again, it's been another great relationship with them. And this year we're just handling the entire production on that side. So we've got 4 individuals out, some technical guys as well as some creative guys to help out. So it's again, another great partnership.
Right. And let's talk some racing. Indy 500 is coming up. Obviously a big deal for race fans here in the US. What's your involvement at the Indy 500?
Yeah. So last year we did install, prior to the Indy 500, which didn't really happen last year, but we did install a unified solution at that facility as well. So the control room products driving some of the LED. We're not driving it all. There's still some other pieces in there that are being driven by other individuals, but we're driving a majority of that facility now. So this year, this is really the launch of that entire system. So we'll be on site, just helping out, making sure everything's working as it should, but driving all the LED, the control room feeds, all that stuff, and putting, there's going to be some fans in attendance. So we'll be there, just driving it all and helping them out. Sort of just another production, another day in production, I guess. But it's pretty exciting to be working with the IMS production group. So we'll also have an Acuity that's going to be managing all of the onboard feeds of all the vehicles, of all the race cars. So that's another interesting piece, right? We've got a lot of different solutions. They had a need to have a specific ability to manage those feeds. So we'll be doing that on site as well.
Yeah, I feel so bad for they did such a great job to get that whole thing. The track is totally reconfigured and a whole fancy experience with video and apps and so thank God this year we will get to see it in its glory, full glory. Should be great. Yeah.
Last year wasn't ideal. Everybody kept pushing and hoping that that productions and people would be allowed, in the venues or at the different sites, and it just didn't happen. So yeah, it's nice to see that things are really starting to turn around.
Sure. So let's talk a few products. We have the Piero live down and distance. So a little bit of an update on that.
Yeah. Piero Analysis, that was a company we acquired a little over 2 years ago now. From that, we've now created Piero Live, which does have a down and distance line. So I'm pretty sure everybody knows what that is, but it's a virtual reality line that's just dropped on the field to mark the down and distance for each play. So we've been using that at a bunch of facilities over the last 8 months or so. It's kind of tough to release products like these during a pandemic because nobody's that crazy about getting, learning about them and things. So now it's sort of a relaunch of that, but we've been using it at many facilities and it's going really well. The feedback's been fantastic. We made a few tweaks here and there, but it's just another piece of that whole Piero family. Very easy to use, intuitive, priced accordingly. So SoFi Stadium's even using one currently. So it's another great product that we add to our portfolio. Great.
And how about the Kiva presentation server? Where does that fit into the marketplace?
Yeah. I actually mentioned that one earlier. That's a presentation server. So it's an icon-based server, right? Pages, tabs, those types of things. Very, very intuitive. Again, very simple to use. Load your sponsorship content, your long form playback, your openings, all that type of thing. Organize it, play it throughout production. So it's a manual server. It's used for somebody, or it's the application is for somebody to manually drive it. But it's just a very intuitive server. So it's again, that was released during the pandemic as well. So we're looking to sort of just re-release it because it's a great product. Priced accordingly, very simple to use. It sort of hits all the high points that people need. And and that's, again, I just mentioned we're using it on the draft, but we're using it at several different facilities as well right now. So it's just another piece of the offering, right? We just keep adding to that overall solution.
Sure. One more piece of the offering is the Ultrix Acuity IP. IP, obviously the two buzziest letters in the business. So what's up with the Ultrix Acuity? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, the Ultrix Acuity, Acuity's been around for many years. It's our flagship production switcher. We've got literally hundreds of them out in the field. Extremely popular in venue sports, as well as a lot of smaller mobile trucks and things. And in broadcast, it's very popular. We had that need to bring in a IP And rather than, just create a whole new chassis and everything else, they combined it with the Ultrix routing platform, which just released their IPIO recently as well. So now we've got a hyper-converged system where we have software-defined production blades within it. And we're allowed, we have the ability to bring the switcher on board. So we can put, IP and SDI, a combination of each, or standalone IO on the system, as well as add your MEs to it. So it's one chassis with whatever panel you choose, or we can do multiple panels with the chassis. But it's hyper converged. So we've got the Ultrix router as well as the Acuity production engine all in one platform. And again, you can be full SDI 12G straight across, or you can be IP. So our SMPTE 2110. So we're there. It took a little while to get this stuff up and rolling, but I think we're in a better spot than we would be if we tried to get something out a little quicker. So. Right. So yeah, we're super excited about it. There's been a lot of buzz, and again, we're deploying many of them globally right now. So it's good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I know that obviously your team, you have a lot of great tools at your own disposal, and I guess Ross Live is, Ross has always been a big highlight of the NAB show, the announcements and such. Yeah. So tell me about Ross Live 2021, episode 1, I believe, debuts this week, May 4th, right? I believe. So tell us a little more about that.
Yeah. Well, last year, just during the pandemic, we didn't have the ability to get out to NAB. The keynote is a big thing, that we do every year. I think in 2019, we had well over 1,000 people attend. Obviously, we couldn't do it last year, so we came up with Ross Live, and we've done a couple of seasons of that. So this year is season 1 of or Ross Live 2021, and it's episode 1 coming up. David Ross, Jeff Moore, and a handful of other individuals will be on hand just to talk about company updates, as well as talk about new product releases, things like that. And it's happening on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, I believe. So yeah, we'll put maybe we can put the link up, and just so people can follow it. But yeah, it's exciting times. I've had a little bit of a preview on what they're releasing, and I talked about a few products that have already been released, but there's a whole gamut of different products that are coming for this year. So right. So it's exciting. We sure would rather be at NAB. I'm sure you would as well. Exactly. Especially with well, the whole buzz of NAB, but just the keynote itself is always exciting. So right. Can't do it yet, but hopefully it comes soon enough.
Right. So let's look forward a little bit, shall we? Yeah. And I'll ask you this question too. If we, I asked this somebody the other day also, if 13 months ago, someone had said to you that this pandemic would go on for 15 or 16 months, and what would the state of the world be like? You would probably say the stock market would be in the tank. Unemployment would be 45%. The industry would be consolidation everywhere. Companies folding up, truck companies folding up, the whole world falling apart. It hasn't come to be, which is wonderful and amazing. So what do you think is going to happen? I mean, obviously, financially, I know there have been an impact on sales and what have you, but are you optimistic about the future, seeing that there is a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, well, I'm optimistic for sure. I think, people are resilient, right? We figure, everybody figures a way to do things. And then also there's, things just change in a certain way that you might have never even saw, right? There's certain things right. happening, even locally where I am, you can't buy, our, recreation vehicles or things like that for months right now. Everything's just sold out. Everybody's planning on spending time with their family locally and things, right. which you never would have thought of, right? In the industry, yeah, it's changed things a lot. There's been a lot of challenges, a lot of struggles, but people have persevered, and I think things are coming around. Yeah, I definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's fantastic. I also think, though, it's pushed us in a lot of different ways. Technologically, right? Remote, REMI productions. Being able to virtualize different software, things like that. It's really challenged us in a lot of ways, and I think it's really just propelled us and made things, just made us develop things a little bit differently, a little quicker. I think some things will die down and we'll get back to somewhat of, the new normal, but it's been interesting all the way. And I say it's been interesting, but I'm definitely glad to, I can't wait to get back to at least whatever the new normal is. But yeah, right. It's been interesting. We persevere, and I'm excited to see what the future brings.
Right. Well, definitely hope we have a chance to return to sharing a cocktail at NAB sooner in October. Let's do that. Right. So
yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Great to see you. Thanks again for your time, and appreciate it, and stay safe.
Thank you. Stay safe. Take care.